is now concerned. We're looking at the top premier investigative agency in anti-terror cases is the NIA, the National Investigation Agency, is now taking over the case. What has now been said that the NIA top officials in the team are likely to join the investigation in Srinagar today, and joint interrogation when it comes to the other medical practitioners who were arrested on part of the Jammu and Kashmir police investigation, including Dr. Adil, Dr. Shakil and Irfan the Maulvi, and four other accused will likely to take place at Srinagar, where all of the accused were also interrogated by a joint team of the agencies at the JSA Srinagar for over 10 hours. And the investigative agency is close to establishing the Pakistan link, where Pakistan handler of the Jaish module is being identified. All of these developments are coming at a time when the NIA, India's top premier anti-terror agency, has now been roped in to lead the investigation of the Delhi blast case, and the NIA will now be taking over the case as far as the investigation has been picking pace. Let's connect with Sahil, Sohail and Bhavtosh with us. Sahil, when we speak of the NIA now taking over, of course on the lines as far as the Delhi police filing the FIR under the very stringent sections of the UAPA which amount to terrorist act, we are told that the NIA team would be arriving in Srinagar to take over the case.
Yes, exactly. This NIA team has been rushed to Srinagar, and in fact today from 10 a.m. onwards there will be joint interrogation of all accused, including Dr. Adil and Dr. Muzammil Shakil at in fact JIC Srinagar. All other intelligence agencies and in fact investigating agencies have been questioning these accused from past few days, and yesterday was the day when in fact Jammu and Kashmir police and other central agencies were in fact questioning these accused. But today is the important day, given the fact that the NIA team will be arriving in Srinagar and they will be basically joining the investigations. So far what Jammu and Kashmir police has investigated will be also in fact handed over to NIA in a way to communicated to the NIA team, because the investigation had started from posters. So Jammu and Kashmir police had in fact investigated this case for quite some time, and in fact made arrests. In 7 to 8 people have been arrested, including 3 doctors, and one is a female doctor from in fact Saharanpur. So NIA team will be there at JIC Srinagar today. They will formally join the investigations. They will be questioning all the accused, including doctors, Dr. Adil and Dr. Muzammil Shakil, and what was their connection with Dr. Omar. And they're also basically the central agencies, the Jammu and Kashmir police and NIA teams will be in fact going deep into the investigation to find out the handler of this terror module. And what we are picking up from the sources is that they're very close to establishing a link between the terror module and Pakistani handler, and the role of Pakistani handler in Delhi blast case, and in fact his connections with Dr. Omar and other accused who are in the case. So as of now, the central agencies, the Jammu and Kashmir police, and importantly now NIA will be joining the investigations today. All accused will be grilled again today at JIC Srinagar.
All right, with all of these development, Sahil, as far as when it comes to the foreign soil angle is concerned, as you mentioned that the agencies are very close in identifying the Jaish module. As far as when it comes to the investigation are concerned, are we looking at more raids and searches to be continued as part of the ongoing investigation?
Yes, exactly. Now, at this point in time, they will be questioning of all the accused. They will be questioning of Maulvi Irfan, Dr. Adil, Dr. Muzammil Shakil, and what was their role. The encrypted in fact applications they were using are already under scanner. Jammu and Kashmir police is aware of that. They have in fact done the documentation, and in fact important leads have been picked up from that. That very in fact communication that chats are the messages they in fact managed to access with the help of these accused from the digital devices. Jammu and Kashmir police has seized from last over 10 days have been also sent to in fact for analysis. They are also expecting breakthrough from those digital devices. But yes, the primary and secondary contact all of these accused, whether it is Dr. Adil or Dr. Muzammil Shakil, Irfan Maulvi or other in fact accused who have been arrested in the case, are under scanner and There are, in fact, Jammu and Kashmir police picking up leads, and the process of conducting raids and, in fact, picking up more people will intensify from today onwards.
All right, these developments are coming to light as far as all of the accused said to be in connection with the Delhi blast case have been arrested by the agencies, as today is the day when it comes to the NIA team who's taking over the case of the Delhi blast case would be arriving in Srinagar. But when we speak of the line of questioning, let's put out when it comes to the details we have in this regard, the joint interrogation that has taken place, and now with the NIA taking over, we're looking at a much intensive line of questioning that is now expected, especially when it comes to the accused in the case, multiple them of having been nabbed in connection now with Delhi blast that seems to have added to the NIA investigation. The line of questioning that has been accessed that primarily deals with the questions that where were the explosives and the weapons procured from, how were the materials moved across states, when were the safe houses and the rooms rented, and of course when it comes to the said car in question that exploded in Delhi's Red Fort, Bhavtosh, all of these details and much more rather when it comes to in-depth investigation is now expected from the agencies.
Yes, Amita, in fact, adding to what our colleague Sahil has said, there is more to this case than meets the eye. While Dr. Omar might have died in the blast, the fact remains that others who have been arrested in this case are as pivotal to this module as others are, as Omar is. The investigators would in fact like to know how they in fact joined the hands, where they self-radicalized or someone asked him to join the group. Is Maulvi the person who in fact told them to become part of this group? Are they really from Jaish-e-Mohammed, or they are from some other module? Because the press release that was issued by the Jammu and Kashmir police group, they mentioned that they are part of Jaish-e-Mohammed and Ansarul Ghazwa-e-Hind, which means that they wanted to establish an Islamic State. The case was cracked after there were some posters that were put up in Srinagar, and that's how this entire case was highlighted. Importantly, what has happened in this case so far is that people from different backgrounds have joined hands together. So it could be possible that the planning itself was being had happened around 6 to 7 months back. Shaheen's relationship with Muzammil is very important only for the fact that it is about the logistics that have been provided. While the car was registered in the name of Shaheen, it was being used by Muzammil, and repeatedly this car was also used to ferry AK-47 assault rifles. Though Shaheen denied that she is a member of any terror group or any organization, but there are technical evidence that shows that she was aware of this entire planning. One important aspect that needs to be unearthed is whether they were directly in touch with their Pakistani handlers, and whether these Pakistani handlers are actually from Jaish-e-Mohammed or from some other group. Now, Adil in fact has said that they were working for Jaish-e-Mohammed, but to get into the deeper conspiracy, the joint questioning of all these accused who have been arrested in this case, 8 accused who have been arrested in this case, is required, and it will go on for at least 8 to 9 days, because the custodial remand of all these accused will get over in next 10 days.
Right, but Bhavtosh, as far as when it comes to, is it just pertaining to how mainly that did they come up with those explosives? 80 kgs, what is being said, was said to be in that very car that exploded in Delhi. But when it comes to the other material as well, how did they assemble it? Where did they get it from? How did they manage to actually move around with it? Where exactly was it stored? This may lead to more investigation and probably more khulasa, if we can say, with regards to the explosives there, because this is warlike stores that has been recovered.
Amita, two things. One, the agencies are still trying to probe whether it is an accidental blast or whether it was a pre-planned blast that happened outside the Red Fort. Having said that, it was not assembled like an IED. That traces have not been found. But yes, it was an explosives, and this explosive can be extracted from any substance. It can be extracted from commercially available ammonia nitrate, or it can be extracted from urea also. But the sheer volume that has been seized from Faridabad is something which is very mind-boggling and very disturbing. 2,953 kgs have been stored in 2 rented accommodation. They are doctors, but they had rented these accommodation from in a very far-flung area. So they are also looking at the possibility that they could have been provided with local support, and that's the reason why they have in fact picked up yesterday at least 4 to 5 locals were picked up for questioning, though their arrest has not yet happened. The fact that there are people from Kashmir who in fact had managed to get accommodation in some places which are as far as 30 to 40 kilometers from Faridabad is also being investigated by the Jammu and Kashmir police, because the raids and searches that happened in Faridabad over a period of 2 days, but that starting from last Saturday till Sunday,
Yes.
that was carried out by Jammu and Kashmir police, and it was only later that Haryana police was
So the involvement of state polices and now the coming together as far as the NI that would be taking charge of the investigation, a team expected to arrive in Srinagar, and of course the line of questioning that has been accessed as far as when it comes to all of the accused are concerned who have been jointly interrogated, that we are looking at as far as the probe update is concerned. Sahil and Bhavtosh, thank you very much for joining in. As we get you the details exactly when it comes to the line of questioning is now concerned, the areas that are likely to be covered in that questioning, that exactly where did they procure those explosives, those weapons, those timers and other components, how were these materials actually transported across state lines, whether it comes to in Jammu and Kashmir, Haryana to UP, where they were staying, what were the specific intended targets for the attack, and much, much more in-depth investigation that is now expected on the lines of the security officials, in particular the NIA, which has now been handed over with this investigation. But speaking of the details there, what exactly happened at 6:52 p.m. on Monday, on the 10th of November, that is now seared into our minds. An I-20, a car that burst into flames. The intensity of the blast was so much that it happened right outside the Red Fort in the very heart of Delhi, leaving many people dead and scores of them injured. But a lot still remains shrouded in mystery. What really happened before 6:52 p.m., that means before the explosion, what transpired in the run-up to the blast? Was it planned? Was it a panic attack? Even when it comes to India's top security agencies piecing together the puzzle around Delhi's first major attack, this explosion that has happened in the last 13 years, it is India's 10/11 moment, the pattern that seems to be pointing towards a cold, calculated and a coordinated conspiracy that may have ended even when it comes to a bigger blast, bigger explosion, much more casualty figure. However, what we are learning from highly placed sources is that the car I-20 went up in flames carrying nearly 80 kgs of explosive material. Now, preliminary investigators suggest that Dr. Omar was the one who had fled when the Faridabad terror module was busted, and he was the one who is said to be behind the wheels when the explosion happened near the Red Fort. This also indicated that the lack of crater that was formed at the explosion, no projectiles that was detected, neither any shrapnels. So how did the car actually go up in flames at the red light? Was it pre-planned? Was it accidental? Here is Navika Kumar getting you the details. So as we get around when it comes to the details and exclusive details that Time Now has accessed, there have been raids that have also been conducted by the security agencies at multiple locations in Delhi NCR, including in Pulwama, that have now recovered significant quantities of explosives. And this is how we decode the entire plan.
That brings me to the biggest exclusive news break. This will change everything you knew so far, and the details that no one else has. Scoop number one from very high sources. Times Now knows that this I-20 that went up in flames was carrying 80 kilograms of explosive material, ammonium nitrate, explosive material 80 kgs. This was what the agencies has not been able to detect so far, and this was the 80 kgs that doctor wanted to take and run away, and this, however, was found with no detonators or a timer at the spot. And here comes the clincher that proves that it was not a planned attack. Times Now has learned that the police already had Dr. Umar's picture and details with them. Look at this tweet from the Jammu and Kashmir police that we're putting up right here on our screens. Jammu and Kashmir police put this up. You can run, but you can't hide. 6:10 p.m. November 10, 2025. This, you can run, but you can't hide. This is the Jammu Kashmir police tweet that I'm putting up. At 6:10, when they tweeted, they had already flashed his picture to their counterparts in Haryana. They had flashed these pictures to their counterparts in Delhi, and the manhunt for Dr. Omar, the terrorist who was planning something big, came up. This was the reason. First, in the morning, the cache of 3,000 kilograms of ammonium nitrate was caught, and then this was the dead giveaway that his picture was being circulated, and he was trying to run and hide. And if I can pull out two pictures that will tell you the story. One at the toll plaza, where you can see him wearing a mask. And that picture will tell you why he was trying to hide his face, simply because he didn't want to get identified. And that picture, if you look at the slide here, this is the car that was going. This is his picture. He has a mask on, trying to avoid the cameras, CCTVs, and probably knowing that he had been identified and therefore running for his life, transporting this explosive material because he thought his game was up, and he panicked. He panicked and ran from Badarpur right up to New Okhla industrial area, and then went on to Red Fort, where he stood in the parking for 209 minutes. The CCTV footage confirms it was Dr. Omar. I can tell you 100% that the man who was blown up in that explosion was Dr. Omar. Got off his car twice to use a washroom, a public washroom, sat inside the car waiting for the traffic to increase. And this traffic, when it would increase, he wanted to slip away unnoticed. That was his plan. He knew he had no other options left.
Now, that is what the agencies believe, that heightened nationwide vigilance may have prevented a much bigger attack, much that would have claimed multiple casualties that was being originally planned, but may have fallen short-circuited by perhaps the accidental explosion at the I-20 car. Multiple reasons that are being given: that the suspect did not follow the usual pattern of a Fidayeen or a suicide car bombing. He neither rammed it into a target nor collided intentionally, and the blast happened when the vehicle was still in motion. Now, Times Now has learned that the police already had Dr. Omar's picture, and it was being circulated, and the details with them as he was close on getting nabbed by them. He was whiling away time at the Red Fort parking lot to avoid any detection as he waited for the traffic to increase during peak hours. Remember his pictures, that glimpse that we got of the individual, the terror suspect, from the CCTVs where he was wearing the black mask, is now being said that the possibility that that is Dr. Omar himself, who was evading identification. Then just few minutes before the explosion, there was this particular tweet from Jammu and Kashmir police that said that you can run but you cannot hide. Did this trigger panic? Is this why Dr. Omar rushed out of the parking? Because he knew that he had no other options left. Now, with this development that is now coming to light, let's tell you exactly when it comes to the car in question. Dr. Omar's I-20, the very same car that was that exploded near the Red Fort on Monday evening, was parked inside the Al Falah University for the past 10 days. It was parked next to a Swift car that was being used by the other terror suspects, Dr. Muzammil, registered in the name of Dr. Shaheen. Now it is being suspected that this very same car, I-20, was parked from 29th of October and the 10th of November. And the I-20 that has been purchased multiple times, had other owners as well, was purchased by these individuals on the 29th of October and then was later taken out for a pollution check too. Now, after panicking on the 10th of November, Dr. Omar took out the I-20. The I-20 already was spotted at multiple locations when we speak of the crowded areas, whether be it Connaught Place, whether be it in Mayur Bihar, before it actually reached Chandni Chowk. Now, the alleged handler of the module is now being traced back to foreign soil, and this is where, when we speak of the NIA, that is now taking the charge of the investigation, that even when it comes to the line of questioning where the joint interrogation is expected to be conducted again, will actually uncover the truth, will actually piece together the pieces of this puzzle and will give us clarity on how this terror module actually functioned, who was behind radicalizing when it comes to highly educated individuals. We are talking of medical practitioners here, and that is why it is being called as a white collar terror module that has been busted. The explosives there and the sheer amount of warlike stores that has been recovered. The car itself had nearly 80 kgs of explosives. And now what is being said with certain amount of certainty that it is Dr. Omar who was said to be the man behind the wheels when the car exploded. So let's connect with Priyank on this particular angle. The car in question, Priyank, where was it parked? Because Dr. Omar was in hiding. He was hiding for the last several days. And in fact, it seemed that he had no other option rather to carry out this very messed up attack that seems to have happened when the explosion happened. What probably he knew that his time was up when the police also tweeted saying that you can run, but you cannot hide.
Actually, that's conclusion which the officials have come up after around 24 hours of investigation, that Umar was certainly afraid and he wanted to carry out some major business. But the manner in which huge amount of explosives which was still in that particular format where the plant is certainly suggesting that he left from the location from Faridabad after picking up the vehicle which was parked there for 11 days. It's clearly suggesting that he wanted to move to some location and carry out major blasts. But now the probe has gone further because there are two agencies which are actually probing into this particular case. One is the Jammu and Kashmir Police, which is probing the indoctrination and the terror module case. The second case, which has been picked up by the National Investigating Agency, is of the blast case. So National Investigating Agency has started detaining individuals and they have started questioning these individuals in this terror attack case, which is an important development which can be looked into as of now. But Umar, certainly unable to carry out that kind of larger explosion, which could have resulted into more casualty, is certainly something which agencies have found after 2 days of investigation. All these 13 to 14 hours of a time period and the location of the vehicle where it was changing the location from Faridabad to Delhi via Sunehri Bagh is under the scrutiny, and that is a roadmap which is being tracked by other officials who are part of this 500-member team.
So foreign handler link is to be established as far as the identification process is on. But when we speak of the car in question, multiple locations that it has now been traced, as far as when it comes to the occupant in the car is also concerned, what is being said that the car had nearly 80 kgs of explosives when the blast happened near Red Fort in the national capital. Priyank, thank you for that update. But speaking of the investigation, let's break the UP angle here. What we are getting to know that the UP ATS will be questioning Dr. Shaheen as the team leaves for Jammu and Kashmir, and the focus would be on Dr. Shaheen's UP connection as far as when it comes to the questioning, which is expected to be held in Jammu and Kashmir, as multiple state anti-terror squad are also said to be involved when it comes to this investigation that is now being carried out, which is now being taken over by the NIA. And the woman doctor in question, who was apparently tasked on assisting with the women wing of the Jaish-e-Mohammed, the UP ATS is likely now to question Dr. Shaheen for her said connections and links to Uttar Pradesh as well. When it comes to the team of UP ATS, what is being said have already left for Jammu and Kashmir. There is another Dr. Parvez here. Adib, as the details that are coming in, he's already in custody of the Jammu and Kashmir Police and the ATS, and also will be jointly questioned.
Well, definitely, Amita, UP ATS have already left for Jammu and Kashmir. They got a question Shaheen, Dr. Shaheen, who has been in police custody of Jammu and Kashmir. They got to question him for her possible links to Uttar Pradesh. She has been posted in different districts of Uttar Pradesh. She has a very close connection as she was born and brought up in Lucknow. So the UP ATS is going to establish the connection between Dr. Shaheen and her sibling, the younger brother of Dr. Shaheen, which is Dr. Parvez. So the team has already left for Jammu and Kashmir, and we can expect that the team, when they will arrive in Jammu and Kashmir, they're going to question Shaheen, and they will uncover more of the terror module related to Shaheen and her brother Parvez.
All right. As far as the team that will be arriving in Srinagar, as far as the investigation is now concerned, this is the UP angle that is also now being investigated. Adib, for the moment, thank you very much for joining in.